Hello, welcome back to Fred in the Shed. We're back up in the Radio Shack. I hope you're well. Now, for those of you that are regular on the channel, thank you very much. Do you remember this little TEF radio, this 6686 radio? I reviewed this a while ago. And although it had great potential, and it was very, very sensitive on FM especially, I felt this particular radio was underdeveloped. It needed some work, so I didn't recommend this radio from Banggood. But I did say to you that I would keep an eye on the TEF chip, because a lot of you were very favourable on that particular radio. So I have done so, and we've now got this model here, which is a hell of a lot better. Again, available on Banggood, and when this video is released in March, there should be a sale on Banggood as well. But currently, coming in at just over £50. Might get that a little bit cheaper with my discount, but very affordable compared to what they were when this was released. So we have the same layout here with the 6686 chip, new software, completely new software, slightly better display, but hopefully the same performance. So that's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to have a closer look at this. We'll test this radio on all of its bands, and we'll see, yeah, whether we like it, whether we think this is at last a worthy radio to the TEF6686 chip. So stay tuned, that's what's coming up. Before we look at this in closer detail, let's just have a quick look at the unboxing. Now, it's not really much of an unboxing experience. These 6686 radios are very much kind of Kickstarter type projects. Got a massive following on the internet. There's loads of forums. You can find out all sorts of information, home builds and things like that. So consequently, there is not really much of an unboxing experience, but we do get the basics. We get a generic ViewSonic here, USB-C charging port, because it does have a built-in lithium-ion battery. It does come with a remote control, surprisingly. Yeah, I mean, okay, I don't know if it really needs a remote control, to be perfectly honest, but it does have a remote control, has a little numerical keypad there, so I assume that you can punch in your radio frequencies. I suppose that's really about it in the box. We get an SMA telescopic whip antenna. Of course, this radio will always work better with an outside antenna, especially on FM if you're going to go after DXing, which what this radio has been built for. But it gets you, this one will get you started. We'll have a look on the back at the moment, but I believe you can swap this across for FM and also shortwave. And that's really about it in the box. Now, it does come with a very basic start guide, which I think is fine on this radio, to be perfectly honest. It just gives you a rough idea what the controls do. They are labelled, but they are multifunctional, especially I think a few of these little encoders here. So yeah, I think that's fine. It tells you what things do on the back. I mean, that's about all you can really expect. As I say, this is an enthusiast's radio, very much like a Kickstarter type project. Right, let's zoom in and have a look at the radio itself and go through some of the features. The on-off switch is on the back of the radio, but it's important to note what version of software, or firmware really, the radio is running. It is upgradable, of course. So we've got version 2.11. I believe it's up to version 2.2. And you would update that via the USB lead into your PC. There's no Wi-Fi built into the radio. First thing to note is the screen. It's definitely been improved since the last version. Very, very clear screen on this one. As before, there's lots and lots of information. You get more information on FM, but even on medium wave here, we can sort of see the signal meter there, and also what is apparently a modulation meter. I called it a VU meter before, but they say it's a modulation meter. Also has a squelch feature, which works on all bands, FM, medium wave, and shortwave, which is quite surprising. And a decibel meter there, so lots and lots of information. Now everything is adjustable. This is what makes this radio so special. We can adjust the bandwidth on all of the bands. Obviously, your tuning, you can adjust the step rate. So very very adjustable radio. Now let's just go through some of the specs on this. So basic specs. Now FM is what's the important band. So this runs from 65 to 108. So 65 up to 88 is what I call the DX band. And that's where this radio shines with an outside antenna, because with the RDS system you can pick up and identify very, very distant DX FM stations. It does have long wave, not that there's much on long wave these days, 104 to 513. And then it has shortwave, broadcast only, just AM, no upper and lower sideband unfortunately, but 1.7 up to 27 megahertz. So it just comes under the AM/CB band. Let's have a closer look round at the radio. I've zoomed in slightly. Now if you're seeing any lines across the screen, because I'm seeing this in the display monitor, in reality there's none at all to the eye. It's a really sharp screen that has improved on the previous model. So starting with the main controls, we have 3 encoders here. Bottom one is the volume control, and you can push that in and it mutes the volume. Very, very simple. Now I'm going to say that the radio sounds really quite nice just having one speaker in the back.
Oh, Susan! Susan! I need your help! It's an emergency!
Play for today.
Ben, mate, you're a lifesaver.
What the hell's going on?
Have you guys not been affected?
By what?
Sewage soup, basically.
Now one thing I will say about the encoder on the volume, and it only affects the volume when this has been mounted on the board, it's very slightly off centre. You can probably just about see that. So when you turn it up, it is brushing on the side of the case, and you can feel the resistance, which is a bit of a shame. It only affects it on high volume.
You know what to do.
Okay,
just there.
cheers.
What can I do?
Helen needs all the help she can get in the day.
It does feel a bit gritty, unfortunately. I may go inside this at some point and to see if I can just slightly bend it over without desoldering it. It's a bit of a shame. It's just a quality issue, unfortunately. But I'd say this is a sort of radio that you might want to work on yourself. That works really, really well. Then we have a squelch function. Now, I'm not really sure why we've got a squelch, to be perfectly honest. It does work. It certainly does. It squelches the volume. Again, maybe in the future, this chip maybe will support FM radio, like CB radio or something, or maybe even on sideband, on the ham side, you could squelch out the background noise. So at the moment, I can't see the point of that, but it is there. Then we have what is called rotary. This is simply the VFO tuning control. Again, by pushing that in, you adjust your step rate. Very easy. Easy to do, no problems there. Then we have these 3 buttons here. These are also multifunctional. They do try and help you a little bit with the printing, but again, you need to refer to the instructions to work these out. So your first button is labelled BW for bandwidth, but it also is a stereo and mono button if you're in a low reception area. Quite useful, just switch that on. Takes it to mono and also boosts up the signal, increases the signal. A long press will change the bandwidth, and this will affect the RDS information. Now currently our RDS broadcasts, we use 236 kilohertz, but it's infinitely adjustable. I think it's 53 up to 300 depending on what band you're on, but again, you just hold that down and then you can scroll through all of the available bandwidths. Okay, we've gone to 311 now. If you hold it down a bit longer, it will switch to auto bandwidth, which I think is probably the function to use, and that will ensure that depending on the signal strength, you're receiving the RDS data. Now the RDS data, this is worth mentioning. Out of all the radios that I've had on FM that have RDS, this I think is one of the quickest. If we slightly tune off and then we tune back, there is a slight delay, but then your information, the RDS information comes through, and it is really, really fast. That is fast. That's faster than my Roberts radio that I've got downstairs. That was pretty decent. Moving on to the next button, the mode button. This is how the radio tunes. You've got 3 different options. Manual, where you just use the VFO and you adjust your own step rate. Auto, where the radio, if you just turn the VFO one notch, the radio will now automatically scan and select your next radio station. And then memory. And if you want to access the memories, you just press the encoder there. There we go. We can go through and save the channel to memory. At the moment, I haven't got any memories saved. I think it's 100 for each band. A long press on the mode button takes you into the main radio menu system here. Gives you information about the software, for example. Audio settings. Quite a lot in here. I mean, as I say, it's very much an enthusiast's radio here. So lots and lots of... I'm not going to go through them all. Yeah, really, there's really quite a lot to choose. There's really quite a lot to choose from. Display settings. Again, brightness, language. Oh my God! Like there's, you can switch off the modulation meter, screensaver. Absolutely, yeah. It's a very in-depth. It's a very in-depth radio. Now the top button, which is labelled station, I think this is how you select your memories. I think if you push that once, it then goes into memory mode. What is more interesting though, is if you hold this down, you seem to get a really in-depth RDS screen. This is where I think the DXing comes in. There we go. So now we've got lots of information coming in here. A lot of this isn't available on this radio station, which is Radio 3 Classic. Here we go. So again, this really does help you out if you're going to be using this as a DXing radio on FM, and you do find a station and you want to find out all of the information being transmitted. This is where you find it out, and there's quite a lot of information here. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't really understand what all of this means, this errors, but I'm sure those of you that are into RDS, you would be able to tell me. But yeah, very interesting to see all that information on the screen. Let's just have a very quick look around the case of the radio. Now, I think they've used maybe like a generic plastic case, but it's absolutely fine. Perfect for a desktop radio. Nothing on the sides of the radio. When we get round to the back of the radio, so what we've got on here, we've got two antenna inputs. Now they are SMA. I would have liked BNC myself. I think that's just a better connector. These are normally fine for UHF. Yeah, but okay, it is what it is. But yeah, there we go. So we've got two antenna sockets here. We have one for the FM and then one for the AM. We also have this little switch here, which isn't very clear, but basically what this does, this switches off the internal AM antenna so you can use the external antenna. It's nice that it's got that. USB-C for charging the radio. The battery seems to last a long time. I haven't recharged it for, all the time I've been using it. It seems absolutely fine. Also, I imagine for firmware updates, that's where you'll connect the radio. Simple power on-off switch, nice quality. Speaker, small speaker. No bass to it. It's not a radio you're going to probably listen to music on, but it does go very, very loud and is very clear. Little 3.5mm jack there for headphones, and also connecting to an external amplifier. If you do buy this radio, I do recommend that you try this connected to an external amplifier and speakers, because the FM performance and the stereo separation is something quite special.
Tonight she's talking family secrets. That could be interesting.
Afternoon, I'm George Litchfield. A big loss for Luton Town in the Championship last night.
Form of life currently has, and this is completely unknown territory, and so we need to discuss whether this can be done safely and indeed whether it should be done at all.
Bubbles on drums. Last but not least...
It's good music. I'm just vibing away to this one right here, honestly. Obviously, I should bring the next tune in, but this has just got me feeling real nice right now.
Sure. We'll cover most pre-existing medical conditions with no age limit. Maybe that's why our customers have given us over 340,000.
I'm walking like every day it's just one bottle of wine or two. But hey, you can't even
Like selected lines only.
Hey love, Mackie sounds great. I really fancy 9 McNuggets.
From efficient gas boilers to low-carbon heat pumps, they know their onions. Whereas I specialise in carrots.
Group.com. Book your dream stay at Hard Rock Hotels in Marbella.
It's JK and Kelly Brook with the latest. Here's Lucinda.
Allies for doing things which the United States does not want them to do. But even under the Biden administration, you saw a willingness to punish people in allied countries, so that, for example, the Biden administration sanctioned some extremist Israeli settlers.
In the Oval Office, and he doesn't want to upset the boss in the White House.
Well, this is it. Who does want to upset him? This is the question, isn't it? So it sounds like you subscribe to the idea that Zelensky put forward that Trump lives in a...
and have your chance to win some great prizes.
So a pound in your pocket today can get you 108.85 Indian rupees. But please use SBI products and services.
Goals in. But I think the thing for Darwin Núñez is that he's getting the chances. I think he's getting the chances, and he's just choosing the wrong decision every single time.
What's the wrong decision with that
one? A small boat across the channel or hiding in a vehicle should be denied citizenship. The letter urges...
Leaf Sheets was taken captive along with his wife, Yocheved. She was freed by Hamas 2 weeks later.
Some of the institutions in other countries can't offer what they really want, simply because Chinese institutions are more disciplined.
در بنیاد این گزارش این کارمندان نهادهای بشری توسط محتسبین وزارت امر به معروف و نهی از منکر طالبان
ከትናንት ጀምሮ መታየቱንና አንድ ታማሚ በበሽታው ምክንያት ህይወቱ ማለፉን አረጋግጠዋል። በሽታውን ለመቆጣጠር መንግስት ከሚያደርገው
Conclusion time. Well, I was blown away by the performance on this radio. Bearing in mind that the outside antenna that I'm using is my CB antenna. That's tuned to 27 MHz. Nowhere near the FM band. Nowhere near 88 to 108. But the performance on FM, unbelievable. It outperformed radios that I've got in this shack that are 4 times the price. It's incredible. It didn't sort of surprise me because it uses that TEF chip, and that's the same chip as the Quadocen radio, the little Quadocen we tested, and that was very, very good on FM. But this one, I think, surpassed that. And there were so many different radio stations that brought in. In fact, I reduced the clip down quite a lot because of viewer retention. I don't want this to drag on too much. What I shall do, if you're really interested in this radio and you want to dig a little bit deeper, on my sister channel, Fred in the Shed 2, I'll put up the full length of FM clips and you'll see the amount of stations this radio picked up. Stations I've never heard before. I didn't even know were there. Unbelievable performance. And even medium wave. Now, on cheap radios, medium wave can sometimes sound very fluffy, very bass heavy. It sounded really, really nice. And again, very selective. Shortwave, the TEF chip isn't known for its shortwave performance, but I couldn't fault it on shortwave. Very, very selective as well. Now, what I mean by that, what my interpretation of that selective means is now on cheap, with some of these cheaper shortwave radios, what happens is when you tune into a medium-powered shortwave station, quite often underneath that station you'll hear 1 or 2 other shortwave stations bleeding through. Not on this radio. It locked on to the shortwave radio station. You have that little tuning signal there. It locked on, and no interference at all. No cross-mode interference from AM as well. Absolutely perfect. I really am quite amazed that something that cost £50 could sound that good. especially on headphones, stereo output. If you connected this to an amplifier, even a little cheap Chinese amplifier and a pair of speakers, you would be blown away. Even on shortwave, I mean, I couldn't play you some of the music stations because of copyright, but again, on headphones, they sounded almost as good as FM. A little sleeping radio. Where's this radio been? It's not really known. It's not a popular radio. It's not a brand that you would think. But what a performance. What a performance. So this absolutely gets the Fred in the Shed thumbs up. I think if you're an enthusiast and you want an enthusiast radio, where you've got all those sub-menu systems as well, and you can go in and see all the RDS information. Yeah, if you're an enthusiast, 50 quid, I mean, it's a steal. Unbelievable. I haven't really got any criticisms for it. I mean, as I say, there is a slight tightness on the volume control. The case is slightly rubbing. I mean, I could just take it apart and SMAs on the back, BNCs would have been better, but I'm not really going to criticise it. For £50, it's a bargain. I'm not going to criticise it at all. Fantastic. So yeah, if you're interested in this radio, link in the description. From Banggood, again, I'll get a small discount. It won't last forever, but that should bring the price down below £50. Amazing bargain. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was informative to you. I'll put up that other video on Fred in the Shed too as well. As always, I would like to say thank you for your view time. I'm a small channel. I don't get that many views per video, so I do appreciate you dropping by. Cheers. As always, I will catch you on the next video. But as for now, please, please, please look after each other for me. Stay safe. And of course, I'll catch you on the next time. Cheers, guys.
Fred's in the shed where the magic unfolds. Fred in the shed with his trusty CB. He's a friend to the lonely on a frequency.